Welcome to a class on basic electronic circuits. The topic for today is going to be bipolar junction transistor biasing. Before we start off with biasing circuits, let's look into the concept of biasing. Biasing is the process of providing DC bias to a transistor for operating in desired region of operation. Since there are two junctions, we need to bias both of them. It is not an ideal scenario to use two batteries to bias one single device. Hence, there are different biasing techniques to bias both the junctions using one single DC source. So let's start with the first biasing technique, which is fixed bias. So as you can see here, we are using only one DC source, that is VCC. The resistance RB helps us in biasing the input junction, and the resistance RC helps us in biasing the output junction. Let's start off with the DC analysis for this biasing technique. So first thing is we'll be applying KVL in the input loop. So when I apply KVL in the input loop, I get an expression which is VCC minus IBRB minus VBE equals to 0. Okay, this helps me to find out the value of IB if I already know the value of VCC and VBE, right? You will assume VBE to be around 0.6 or 0.7 because the input junction is already forward biased, right? Let's move ahead. Once I know IB and if I know the value of the current gain of common emitter, which is beta, I can go ahead and find out IC, which is beta times IB. Okay, once IC is found out, I can apply a KVL in the output loop to find out VCE. So let's apply a KVL in the output loop. When I apply KVL in the output loop, the equation is VCC minus ICRC minus VCEQ is equal to 0. Since all the other parameters are known, I can find out VCEQ. Discuss DC load line for fixed bias circuit. To do so, I will be considering the output equation. The output equation is VCC minus ICRC minus VCEQ equal to 0. To draw the DC load line, I will be considering two extreme conditions. Once when IC is equal to 0, I will be able to calculate VCEQ. The VCEQ turns out to be equal to VCC, which is 10 volts. Next condition, you will consider VCEQ to equal to 0. When VCE is equal to 0, I get ICEQ equal to VCC by RC. We can use these values to plot my DC load line just like this. So you will get a DC load line which helps you to understand all the operating points for the given transistor. Also, there is a concept called Q point. So Q point is nothing but my quiescent point. So wherever my output characteristics intersect my load line, I get Q point. So as you can see, I plotted both DC load line and my characteristics. So the point of intersection gives me Q point. Okay, as your IB varies, your characteristics changes. So characteristics also depend upon my input current. It all and depends upon my output voltage. Although fixed bias is the most simplest technique for biasing, it has one drawback. The drawback is the Q point shifts and it does not give you a stable Q point. So as you can see, if IB increases, then IC will also increase because I know IC is beta times IB, and hence there will be no stable IC and Q point will go on shifting. That is one big drawback of fixed bias circuit. So we need to introduce a feedback for stabilizing the Q point, which is done by introducing an emitter resistor in a fixed bias. Fixed bias or emitter bias. The only modification is you've added an emitter resistor through a fixed bias circuit. Now if you look into the KVL input loop, it says VCC minus IBRB minus VB minus IER is equal to 0, and the output loop says VCC minus ICRC minus VCEQ minus IER is equal to 0. Now in this circuit, if IB increases or decreases, then IC will also increase or decrease because IC is equal to beta times IB. And IE, which is equal to IB plus IC, will also increase or decrease. That means if IB has a positive variation, IC will also have a positive variation, and so will IE. But what the drop across RE, which is nothing but IERE, will have an exactly opposite variation. So if IE has increased due to increase in IB, then the drop across IERE will also increase. This increase in IERE will result in reduction of IB. If you see in the input loop, if IERE increases, my IBRB will reduce. RB is a constant value because it's a resistance. So what is going to reduce is effectively IB. And now if IB reduces, IC will also reduce. So any variation positive or negative in IB will be compensated by the drop across RE, and now both IC and Q point will be stable. To the analysis for modified fixed bias or emitter bias. So we've already seen the KVL equation. We'll use the KVL equation to find out IB. So KVL equation VCC minus IBRB minus VBE minus IERE is equal to 0. I can split IE to be written as IC plus IB. Further, I can write IC to be beta times IB so that I have all the currents in the terms of IB. So now I can write VCC minus IBRB minus 1 plus beta times IBRE minus VB is equal to 0. I can club all IB terms together and I'll get IB equal to VCC minus VBE upon RB plus 1 plus beta times RE. For this numerical, it comes out to be 100.92 microamperes. Next step is always going to be finding out IC. So I know IC is beta times IE, so I'll be easily beta times IB, so I'll be easily able to find out IC. Next, to find out VCQ, you will be applying KVL in the output loop. Also look into the DC load line analysis. So same, we'll be considering the output equation for plotting the DC load line for emitter bias. We'll be considering those same two conditions, IC equal to 0 and VCE equal to 0. Alternatively, to find out two coordinates. So for first coordinate, when IC is equal to 0, comes out to be VCQ equal to VCC, which is 10 volts. Next time when VCE is equal to 0, IC comes out to be VCC upon RC plus RE. We can plot them on the graph to find out the load line. So this is the load line. Now you can see on the current IC has moved from 10 milliamperes to 8 milliamperes, right? So this is my DC load line. Okay, I know when I plot characteristics over this DC load line, the intersection gives me Q point. Let's look into the next circuit, which is connected to base bias biasing. This is also very common technique used for biasing a NPN or a PNP transistor. Here RC and RB provide biasing. Right now, if you can observe, the current flowing through RC is going to be a combination of current flowing through the transistor IC and the base current IB. Let's start with writing the KVL equation for this circuit. So KVL equation is going to be equal to VCC minus IC plus IB into RC minus IBRB minus VBE. This can be manipulated to find out the value of IB, right? And this particular numerical comes out to be 57.76 microamperes. Once you found out IB, you will be able to find out IC. Once you found out IC, you can go ahead and apply KVL in the output loop to find out VCEQ, right? So VCEQ in this numerical comes out to be 5.32 volts. Just check the stability provided by collected to base bias. Now if IB increases or decreases, then IC will also increase or decrease because of the relationship between IC and beta. But at the same time, you will have voltage drop across RC increasing, which will result in reducing the current IB, and thus any positive or negative variation in IB will be compensated by the drop across RC, and hence the IC will also be compensated. Therefore, collector to base bias also provides you with stable IC and Q point. let's also look into the DC load line for collector to base bias. So we'll consider the output equation, which is VCC minus IC plus IB into RC minus VC equals to 0. We'll consider two conditions. First, when IC is equal to 0, we'll get VCE equal to VCC, which is 10 volts. Next, when VCE is equal to 0, we'll get IC to be equal to VCC upon RC approximately. You can plot these two values on the graph to get a DC load line. Once you've got a DC load line, you can have your characteristics drawn on that DC load line to get Q point. Move on to the most famous kind of biasing technique used, which is potential divider bias or voltage divider bias. Here, biasing is provided by R1 and R2, and hence the name potential divider or voltage divider biasing. Okay, to analyze this circuit, we will be finding out Thevenin's equivalent of R1, R2. So let's move ahead. So we'll be finding out a Thevenin's equivalent voltage and Thevenin's equivalent current. The Thevenin's equivalent voltage can be found out by this equivalent circuit, where I have VCC and I have a voltage divider network formed by R1 and R2. So VB in this case is going to be equal to VCC into R2 upon R1 plus R2. Simply apply a voltage divider rule. Next, let's find out the equivalent resistance for the divider network. So we'll ground a DC source, and the equivalent resistance RB comes out to be parallel combination of R1 and R2. The circuit shown here is the equivalent circuit for voltage divider or potential divider network. The VB comes out to be 1.25 volts and RB comes out to be 8.75 kilo ohms in this particular numerical. Let's start off with the DC analysis. So DC analysis in this case is going to be when I apply KVL in the input loop. So VBB minus IBRB minus VBE minus IERE is equal to 0 is my KVL expression, which gives me IB to be equal to 45.23 microamperes in this numerical. Next, I'll be able to find out IC. Once I found out IC, I can apply KVL in the output loop to find out VCEQ. VCEQ in this case comes out to be 5.85 volts. Start with DC load line analysis and Q point analysis for potential divider bias. Now again we'll be considering the output equation, which is VCC minus ICRC minus VCEQ minus IER equal to 0. We'll again consider the same conditions, once when IC is equal to 0 and second time when my VCE is equal to 0. You'll get corresponding values of VCEQ and ICQ, which can be used to plot the DC load line. Once you've plotted the DC load line, next you can plot your characteristics to get Q points. So these are the characteristics, and you get Q points. Look into the stability provided by potential divider bias. For that, I'll be considering both input and output loop equation. The input loop equation is VBB minus IBRB minus VBE minus IERE equal to 0, and the output equation is VCC minus ICRC minus VCEQ minus IERE equals to 0. Now if there is variation in IB, there will be variation in IC, and there will also be variation in IE and also a drop across resistance RE. But since the drop across RE appears to be in the input loop, it will affect my base current. So if there is increase or decrease in IB, there will be increase or decrease in the voltage drop across RE, which will decrease or increase the current IB. So as you can see, IB and IC get stabilized, and so does the Q point. Thank you.